Father, we thank you for your word. We thank you for your anointing. We thank you for your understanding and your blessings and your grace. We ask that you would continue to bless us and be with us. We ask that you would bless us with your Holy Spirit tonight and help us to understand your word. And in your holy and righteous Son, Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Tonight I'm going to come out of Hosea. We're going to start at chapter 1, verse 2. No, it's good. Thank you, Pop. Got it? All right, Hosea chapter 1, verse 2. The beginning of the word, the Lord by Hosea. And the Lord said to Hosea, Go, take unto thee a wife of whoredoms and children of whoredoms, for the land had committed great whoredom, departing from the Lord. So this afternoon we're going to talk about perfect love. So whenever we think about love, we will automatically think about our standards, like what we want, what we wouldn't put up with, like how a lot of men, they want their wife to cook, and they want their wife to not cheat on them or not spend up all their money. Those are standards. Or as a woman, she might want a man that's not lazy, a man that's a protector, a man that'll provide, a man that'll be there, a man that can lead a family, a man that's intelligent. So with us having standards, we usually stick to them. We won't bend our standards for nothing. And you got the right to have your standards because God will teach you not to settle for anything. So what about the standards that God has set for us? The same way we would feel if somebody violated our standards, how you think God feels when he set up standards and you violate his standards? If somebody cheated on you, you'll feel used. So if we do something against God, God might feel the same exact way. So the reason why in this verse, God telling Hosea to marry a woman to whoredom is because he compared it to his people, the way his people starting to act. Because we know that it said that the people of God, the church, is like God's wife and he is like the husband. So he comparing this to marrying a woman to whoredom. So how bad we got to be messing up, or they had to be messing up as a church, for God to compare his people to a woman to whoredom. So think about what a woman or whoredom do. All she do is sell herself for everybody else's pleasure. That's all it is. So in verse 3 it says, So he went and took Gomorrah, the daughter of Diblaim, which conceived and bare him a son. And the Lord said unto him, Call his name Jezreel, for yet a little while, and I will avenge the blood of Jezreel upon the house of Jehovah, and will cause to cease the kingdom of the house of Israel. So when you're dealing with this whoredom, it also gives offspring. And whenever he gave offspring, it said that for a little while he will avenge the blood. So basically, whenever you're in this situation and you're a woman or whoredom, you're going to have offspring. And the offspring that you have, you might not like all the time. And it's not really this is not a physical thing, it's spiritually too. Basically, anything you put in front of God is like order. So some people might be focused on their job right now. Man, I won't go to church, but I got to work on Sundays. Or, man, I won't go to church, but I'll be tired from working throughout the week. That's understandable. And that could be true. But if you set some certain things in place, certain rules that you want and will not bend on, God set it in place that it should be nothing in front of him. And if you're putting something in front of him, it causes you to cheat on him. So this is why he say it's like him being married to a woman to whoredom. So this is why he made one of his servants marry a woman to whoredom. And verse 5 and 6, it says, It shall come to pass today, I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel, and she conceived again and bare a daughter. And God said unto him, call her name Lo-ruhamah, for I will no more have mercy upon the house of Israel, but I will utterly take them away. So once again, her offspring came, and God said he's not going to have mercy no more. So, dealing with this again, you got another offspring. So, let's say you on your job, you doing it good, you making good money, but you ain't got no peace at home. You suck at home. You get them so much on your job that when you come home, you can't do nothing. You come through your door, and your kids won't hug you, you push them on the ground. I'm tired, I ain't got time. You come home, your spouse won't spend time, watch TV, eat some dinner, you too tired. You just want to get in the shower and be to yourself. You suck because you're giving all that to your job and not giving nothing to your home life. It's the same way with God. You're going to give your job everything you got and don't give nothing to God. I give her an example of this. A dude on my job died yesterday. This man died yesterday. This is the story. So, he had been dealing with some stuff in his lungs. I think it was some kind of cancer for a while. I think he had fluid on his lungs, and then it'd be hard for him to breathe. So sometimes he'll ride with me, and I tell him, bro, look, you ain't gonna die up in here riding with me. I said, if it's something that you can't do, sit down up in the air conditioner, and if they say something, I'll tell them. Y'all know he's sick, and he can't pick up on all that stuff. So he'll ride with me, and he'll talk. And so it came to yesterday. We were sitting at the clock, and we was talking and laughing, and we clocked out. And he went and got in his truck, and they said after we left, he called one of our other co-workers to come back there and check on him. And they took him to the hospital. Now, we get off at 4:30. So at about 6 o'clock, my supervisor called because I lost something. And he said that the guy that went to check on him had found it. So he asked me if I wanted to come to the hospital and get it. Well, I'm like, no, who in the hospital? And he said, he told me to do his name. He said, he in the hospital. I said, well, man, don't worry about it. I'll just get up in the morning and work. So 30 minutes later, I got a call from my daddy. But in the midst of me doing that, I texted the dude who was there with him and said, what's wrong with D? So my daddy called me, and he was like, you know the man died, huh? I was like, what? He's like, yeah, he died. So in the midst of that, I got a text back from the dude that told me that he was dead. So guess what the people did? I will now come and he give us a speech. Well, guys, we hate to hear that, and whenever you lose a person like that, especially whenever you lose a good employee. Yeah, but let's just try to remember the good times and this and that. And so basically, what he told us, I'm sorry he did, y'all get back to work. Point being, there's nothing wrong with working hard. There's nothing wrong with being a good provider. But if you get out there and kill yourself, it's like what the old folks told you. You drop dead, they're going to push you out the way and put up a non-hiring sign. So there's no reason to put your job or anything in front of God. All right? Let me skip now because I got a lot of stuff. I'm going to read 7 and 8. But I will have mercy upon the house of Judah, and will save them by the Lord their God, and will not save them by bow, nor by sword, nor by battle, by horses, nor by horsemen. Now when she had weaned Lo-ruhamah, she conceived and bare a son. So this was another time where she conceived and bare a son, and God said that upon the house of Judah, he was going to save them and come to them and stuff like that. So in verse 10, let me just get through it. Verse 10, it says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it should be said unto them again, ye are the sons of the living God. So basically, after these people sinned against God, after God compared these people like being married to a woman that was about whoredom, he forgave them up in the end. So basically, if you make this mistake and you come back to God, he will forgive you. But we shouldn't put nothing in front of God up in the first place. That's all it's about. Anything you put in front of God is considered whoredom away from God. Nothing should be in front of him, no matter what it is. And these everyday situations will make you feel like you got to do this, or you need to do that, or you don't have time to read, or you don't have time to pray. It'll come times where you'll deal with stuff that's so hard and so tough you feel like you can't pray. But that's whenever you close your mouth and let the Spirit speak for you. They said that the Holy Spirit will speak for you. You wouldn't even know how you're doing it. All right? So, in chapter 2, I'm going to start at verse 2 and 3. It say, plead with your mother. Plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adultery from between her breasts. So God's saying right here, everything you put in front of me, everything you're not supposed to be doing, put it away. And they got this thing called out of sight, out of mind. A lot of times, if you see something, it'll make you want to sin. Like, they got people that's addicted to porn, and that's a real addiction. Like, people really addicted to porn. So how it starts is, it'll start up in your mind. Like, they got this movie, this funny movie, but it's real, kids can't watch it. It's called 40-Year-Old Virgin. This dude was a virgin his whole life, right? So he was 40 years old, and sex didn't really bother him that much until he started hanging around dudes who was having sex, and that's all they talked about. All they talked about is women they slept with, body parts, sex stories. And so it got to a point to where he would walk outside and ride his bike and be peaceful, smell the air, see the sun. Then it got to a point to where they started waking it up in him, and he started seeing them more. He walking outside, and a bus passed by, they say eruption, you know you want it. And they show two people kissing. Now all of a sudden, he walking down the sidewalk, he looking down women's shirt. He walking and looking whenever women passing by, he looking behind him. So they put it up in his mind, but also him seeing it, it made it worse. So what you gotta do whenever it comes to your mind, don't let it sit there. Don't bring it to your eyes, because the eyes is the window to the soul. Most people get addicted to porn by watching it too much. If that thought come in, I don't care what you gotta do not watch it. Don't let that sink in you too much. So out of sight, out of mind. Same thing with alcohol, drugs, arguing, whatever people hooked on. Out of sight, out of mind. If you can keep it out your vision and get away from it, you can overcome it. And in verse 3 it says, lest I strip her naked and set her as in the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. So basically he said, she don't stop. He's going to take everything away. That's usually what happens whenever God loves you. You see you put something in front of him, he take it away, no matter what it is. It may be a person, it may be a car, it may be a house, it may be that job you wanted. Some kind of way God will take it away and strip you back down to whenever you didn't have nothing, to where all you could do is depend on him. And we see this happen all the time. Rich people will lose their mind. And you will hear billionaires say, you could take all my money just to have peace of mind. Well, where peace of mind come from? God, the Holy Spirit. That's the only way that you can get it. Yeah. All right? In verse 4 it says, I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. So we was talking about the offspring, that stuff that happened. You watch a lot of porn, you're going to get addicted to sex, you might turn into a pervert. If all you do is work all the time, you have a lot of money, but what is it for a man to be alone? God said a man should not be alone. So you got all this money, but who you going to share with? You ain't got no kids, who you working for? So by this time, you 80 years old, you're a billionaire with no kids, no wife. So who you going to leave it to? All right? So verse 5, for their mother played the harlot. She that conceived them had done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, my oil and my drink. So it's saying that the mother who he was married to was chasing after everything but him, not knowing that everything that the mother needed came from him. So she chased after everything that wasn't him, what looked good. How much stuff look good and ain't good at all. They put it in front of you all the time. Every time you turn on TV, something look better than what it is. Like, example, who in here like frying their own chicken? If you ain't know no better and you watch TV, you'll think Popeyes had the best chicken up in the world. You would think Raising Cane's had the best chicken fingers on the market. Until you go eat it and compare it to your grandma chicken, who used to sit her chicken in buttermilk for 3 days with the seasoning on it, and you can't figure out how she got it that good. And you can't figure out how she got it that good. They always make something look better than what it is. And to be honest, that's how they make sin look. They make it look like Christians can't have no fun. They make it look like all you can do is go to church and go home. They make it look like all the fun is gambling all your money away and sleeping with everybody. You can have fun. I shoot pool. I play dominoes. I play spades. I bowl. Sometimes I be playing around with one of my cousins and we shoot dice for now laters just to show them, bro, gambling ain't gonna get you nothing but broke. So they make everything look fun that's outside of God. And that's how people get drafted. I'm saying drafted, but that's how people get trapped into everything outside of God. That's how they trick you up in the hood. Like they trick people's daughters and sons with sex. What they don't tell them is you take a risk of getting a disease. And some of the stuff they got out there now ain't like in the 80s. Ajax won't get it off you now. I mean, they stuff now will be stuck with you for life. So it's important to let them know, yeah, sex ain't evil, but it's for marriage. Wait till you get married. You ain't missing out on nothing. All right? Verse 6, it says, therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with horns and make a wall that she shall not find her parent. So this is the point where sometimes it make it like where you try to do something and God will block the way up. I tried to go back this way. Or somebody might try to go back and sell dope and that way blocked up. They might try to go back and hang with the old crowd, that's blocked up. They might try to go back and do this and do that, and the only way that they can go is straight back to God. How many people could attest to that? You was looking for something to do wrong. You was looking for a blunt to smoke. You was looking for somebody to sleep with. And the only thing that you could do is go up in there and talk to God. All right, God, you won. I quit. Don't worry about it. Just, you won. I quit. So God will do that to you too. In verse 7 it says, and she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. She shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then they shall say, I will go and return to my first husband, for there was a better with me than now. I just explained that I got ahead of myself. Y'all excuse me. All right. Go to verse 8. For she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil, and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal. So this whole time it's telling you that she thought all her blessings was coming from one place, and it was coming from somewhere else. People don't think that God is gracious enough to give them money. God don't need money. He don't even care about money. He got streets paved with gold. If he wanted to give you some money, he could just blink his eye, snap his finger, and your whole house would be full of money. People act like God can't heal them no more. And the thing that bothers me the most is people think that they too far gone to come to Christ. Like, what you got is brand new, it's too heavy, and God can't handle it. First of all, he sent his son to die for all that. This is why Jesus had to go and pray 3 times, because he said, please take this cup from me. And at the end he said, not my will, but your will be done. So they got people thinking that what you got is too heavy. God used people who was way, way out there. David was a murderer. Moses, Noah was a drunk. David was a murderer. There's nothing you got that's too heavy that God can't handle. Read the people that God used. Read their backstories. Read the stuff that they was doing while they was with God. There's no type of sin that's too heavy for God because he got control over it. Alright? In verse 9 it says, therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time therefore, and my wine in the season therefore, and will recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness. And now I will discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand. So not only is he going to take everything back, but he's going to make it to where everything you love don't love you no more. Liquor ain't love me no more. It made me sick. I was sweating worse than what I'm sweating now. I smelled like a tailpipe out of a diesel truck, and I was throwing up every 30 seconds. Liquor didn't love me no more. Weed didn't love me no more. It got me from feeling good to making me dizzy. The clubs ain't love me no more because I go in there and look around like, bro, I'm so bored. We done paid $10 to get in here and everybody's just doing stuff that we could do for free. The streets, run them a little bit, they love me no more. Cause every time I come out there, people will be like, oh, what you doing out here? Like, just go home or something. So the very thing that you try to run to, besides him, he'll make you reject it. Anybody could contest to that?
Yes, Lord.
All right. Verse 11, I will also cause her mirth to cease, her feast days, her new moons, and her Sabbaths, and all her solemn feasts. And I will destroy her vines and her fig trees, wherefore she has said, these are my rewards that my lovers have given me, and I will make them a forest, and the beasts of the field shall eat them. So, what it's saying here is that everything she would do that would attract her lovers, or everything she thought she did that would make her lovers want her back, won't work no more. You'll try to go up in the party and turn it up how you used to, and the police will keep you going in. You might try to go to a club, and you might just go up in there and not have fun no more. It's some kind of way that God will make it to where you'll try one of your old tricks to go back to where you was, and he'll mess all that up. This is why sometimes when people get married and want to have divorces, they can't do it. Because it ain't a biblical reason why. Once again, they try to be happy, but you got to put work in it to be happy. And this is crazy because a lot of people get married and think you just get married and it's a beautiful rainbow. That take work. Because marriage, you got to compromise. It's not all about you no more. You're going to have a spouse, you're going to have kids, they're going to have needs, and make you step outside of yourself and put everybody else first. They really do. And I was the type of person I was like, man, look, I ain't about to stand here and hear no woman talk to me crazy. The only woman talking to me crazy was my mama, and I ran from her. So it make you come to a point to where stuff you don't want to face, you got to face it. And it also show you stuff about you. Because some of the stuff that your spouse is going to tell you, you ain't going to like. But it'll be true. You show is walking on you, sometimes you wake up and you don't even speak. Well, excuse me. Or it'll be, just seriously, God will tell your spouse to tell you stuff about you that you may not like. But just saying that to say, some of them old tricks you'll try to do to go back to what you was doing before, it ain't gonna work. All right, what I left off at 12? All right, 13, and I will visit upon her the days of Balaam, wherein she burned incense to them. She docked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers and forgot me, said the Lord. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. So basically, after you strip her naked and take everything away, you're going to bring her to a place where he will forgive you. But if you read this and pay attention to it, it's the cycle. So what he did was get the man to marry the hoe, and he showed him all the different stages that he had to go through. And this is the different stages that God will go through with us. If you really pay attention, when you come to God, everybody's story is different, but there's similarities into it. You'll come to God and feel like, well, God doing ain't working no more, I quit. So you're going to turn around and try to go back to what you used to do. He might let you do it for a little bit, but then you're not going to get no fulfillment out of it no more. Once again, you might take a drink of liquor like I did, now you sick. You might try to smoke a blunt, you dizzy now. You might try to go back to all these women, they often married now. They don't care about you no more. So God will find a way to block you from going back to what you used to do to keep you going forward to him. He will do this all the time. And after he break you and strip everything you don't need, that's when he come and comfort you, and he hug you, and he show you he loves you, and you get deeper and close to him, and that's when he'll show you that all that you had you didn't need. But the stuff that gave you, that benefited you, you thought you got it from that, but you got it from him. So that's God's way of showing you. So don't be hoarders, even though the rest of the world is. God loves you, and don't do nothing that you wouldn't do in front of grandma.